Women's pro surfing has come to the Hawaiian Islands for the final stop on its international tour. It's the Sunset Beach Sunwear Women's Pro Surfing Championship. The top women surfers in the world have come to challenge famous Sunset Beach on Oahu's North Shore. Among them, Wendy Botha of Australia, current world champion. Frida Zamba of Florida, four-time world champion. Jody Cooper of Australia, the defending event champion, and Lynn Boyer of Hawaii, a former two-time world champion. Get set for the finest in women's professional surfing here on ESPN. Aloha and welcome to the North Shore of Oahu in the Hawaiian Islands for today's Sunset Beach Sunwear Women's Pro Surfing Championship. This event marks the 12th and final stop on the ASP World Tour for women professionals, and it's a record-breaking event with over $35,000 in prize money, $11,000 going toward the winner. Hello everybody, I'm David Stanfield. Joining me, one of Hawaii's most fearless big wave riders, Mark Fu. And Mark, we have perfect conditions today for a surf contest.
Absolutely, Dave. These are primo Sunset Beach conditions. This is every pro surfer's dream, is to be surfing, competing for this kind of money in these kind of conditions. They've got 6 to 8 foot north swell, perfect trade winds, sunny, beautiful day. It's going to be a wonderful climax for the ASP year.
For the Sunset Beach Women Pro, obviously the venue is Sunset Beach, Hawaii, and this spot has been one of the most consistent big wave spots on the North Shore. In fact, it is one of the most challenging.
Definitely one of the most challenging spots in the world, not just in Hawaii, because of the fact that Sunset Beach picks up the swells out of the North Pacific from, just about every direction, from north to west and everything in between. So there's a huge lineup out there, 200-300 yard lineup, and just finding the waves is going to be a very difficult task. And once they've got the waves, then they have to deal with the power and the energy of these open ocean swells.
And the women are going after all that prize money as well. They're going after points. Now, what are the judges going to look for? What are the hot maneuvers?
Well, obviously what the judges want to see is radical maneuvers, controlled maneuvers in the critical portions of the wave. And the waves today are absolutely ideal for that because, they're fanned open by these winds and the swell direction is pushing down the reef, so they got a lot of open face to work with to come off the bottom, snap it off the top, cut back into the hook, and it's perfect for the judging criteria and ideal for the women.
The woman that's been scoring points all year long, in fact, she has dominated women professional surfing, is Wendy Botha, originally from South Africa, now living in Australia. She has dominated the circuit with 7 big wins and 11 events. She is the new world champion. She is in competition. Before we take a look at quarterfinal highlights, let's go down to beachside with a third member of our team, Betty DiPolito, with an update on the waves and the conditions. Betty?
Thanks, Dave. We have some really good conditions here at Sunset Beach today. The girls are really happy with it. We have 6 to 8 foot surf, offshore winds, and some tubes should be happening later on in the day, especially for the final rounds. Back to you, Dave.
I see quite a few.
Ideal conditions here at Sunset Beach. In fact, they've been perfect all morning long. Let's take a look back now at quarterfinal action. Quarterfinal number 1, we saw Australia's Jody Cooper go up against Kim Merrick from the U.S., Margot Oberg from Hawaii, and Melissa Ladd out of Australia. And Jody Cooper set the standard in quarterfinal number 1 with her powerful, aggressive style. She is the defending champion of this event and made her presence felt.
California's Kim Merrick had some good rides, but her wave selection could have been a bit better.
Margot Oberg also had a good heat, a veteran at Sunset Beach and a former multi-world champion.
But it was Melissa Ladd of Australia who edged out Oberg with moves like this right near the end of the heat.
4 ladies, only 2 advance, and advancing into semifinal number 1, Jody Cooper and Melissa Ladd. Quarterfinal number 2, Wendy Botha out of Australia, Frida Zamba out of the U.S., Jenny Gill, Australia, and Randy Barrick out of Florida. Wendy Botha, the reigning world champion, continued with her winning ways in quarterfinal number 2 and took this heat with rides like this.
Former 3-time world champion Frida Zamba, while competing only selectively, still looked quite sharp.
Jenny Gill, another great Australian surfer, didn't get the bigger wave she needed to compete with both Frida and Wendy.
Randy Barrick, a rookie from Florida, didn't quite make her wave count, but I'm sure we'll be using more of Randy in the future.
Advancing into semifinal number 1, a pair of world champions, Wendy Botha and Frida Zamba. Quarterfinal number 3 was next. We saw Pam Burridge out of Australia, Alyssa Schwartzstein out of the U.S., Georgia Smith out of the U.S., and Karen Gallagher, a local from Hawaii. The 5 judges gave quarterfinal number 3 unanimously to Pam Burridge. The Australians really know how to handle the larger surf, and Pam is no exception.
Alyssa Schwartzstein caught a lot of waves, but couldn't quite get the distance she needed out of them.
Georgia Smith only managed to get 3 waves in the heat, and while the girls are judged on the best 3 waves in the quarters, hers weren't strong enough.
The other semifinal berth was awarded to Karen Gallagher. Karen lives right here at Sunset Beach, and her local knowledge paid off.
And advancing out of quarterfinal number 3 into semifinal number 2, Pam Burridge and Karen Gallagher. Lineup for quarterfinal number 4, Pauline Menser, Tony Sawyer out of Australia, Jolene Smith and Lynn Boyer from America. The young Australian Pauline Menser, who has been rapidly advancing through the ranks of pro surfing, couldn't put it together in quarter number 4.
Tony Sawyer was struggling early, but then later in the heat put together 3 back-to-back high-scoring rides to go on to win the heat.
Jolene Smith suffered the same problem as her twin sister Georgia, only 3 waves in the heat, not high scores.
2-time IPS world champion Lynn Boyer knows Sunset Beach as well as anybody and got second with wave selection like this.
Advancing on to semifinal number 2, Tony Sawyer and Lynn Boyer. We'll be back with semifinal action right after these messages. Lots of action in the semifinals. One thing for sure, a big upset. 4-time world champion Frida Zamba went down to defeat, but we had some great action. Let's take a look at the highlights right now. The lineup, semifinal number 1, Jody Cooper, Melissa Ladd, Wendy Botha, and Frida Zamba. The level of surfing moved up yet another notch in semifinal number 1, and the charge was led by defending event champion Jody Cooper of Australia.
Melissa Ladd, who edged out Margot Oberg in the quarters, struggled in the semis and ended up 4th.
The real battle for the second semifinals berth was between 2 champions, Frida Zamba and Wendy Botha. Wendy struck early with 2 high-scoring rides and a 3rd later in the heat.
On the other hand, Frida Zamba did most of her scoring late in the heat, but it wasn't enough to beat Wendy. Cooper and Botha, both from Australia, would advance on to the finals.
And Mark, right now, Betty DiPolito is down beachside with Frida Zamba.
What happened in your heat? You're out of the event now, but what went on in your heat?
Well, it was seemed like it was really hard to get into the right sync with the waves and get in the right lineup spot. There was West Peaks coming and North Peaks, and I was kind of always in the middle, but it was really close. I looked at the scores, and there was only like a points difference. I think I needed one more big set wave.
A stunning upset for Frida Zamba. Semifinal number 2, Pam Burridge, Karen Gallagher, Tony Sawyer, and Lynn Boyer. And semifinal number 2 featured 2 Australians and 2 Hawaiians, and oddly enough, 1 of each would advance to the final. Pam Burridge continued to track towards the final and a shot at the $11,000 first prize money, and unanimously won this heat.
Karen Gallagher had one really high-scoring wave and was definitely the crowd favorite. Unfortunately, she was a little bit out of sync with the sets and had to settle for a 3rd place in the heat.
Tony Sawyer, the winner of quarterfinal heat number 4, tried to give Lynn Boyer a run for her money. Sawyer, out of Manly, Australia, a 6-year pro, gave it her best but came up short. But it was Lynn Boyer, used her home court advantage to catch the better waves and move on to the final, showing outstanding skill and wave knowledge, a pro since 1975. And what's amazing, she's been competing here at Sunset since the age of 12, long before most of these girls started surfing.
So that rounds out our 4 finalists. Cooper and Botha are joined by Burridge and Lynn Boyer.
With a break in the action, let's take a look at the state of women's professional surfing. The Women's Pro Tour has grown in number of stops, prize money, and competitors since its inception in 1977. This year, the tour began in Australia, where 3 events were held. First, the O'Neill IMB Masters, the Quit Women's Pro, and the MBF Head Start Pro. Wendy Botha incredibly won each of these events to begin her domination of the Women's Pro Tour this year. From Australia and Wendy's hat trick, the tour moved to California for the OP Pro Surfing Championship. Regarded as one of the events to win, Frida Zamba of Florida came out of semi-retirement to defeat Kim Merrick in the final for her third OP Pro title. Then on to Europe for 3 events. Event number 1 and 3 in England and France was dominated by Wendy Botha. Event number 2 in Lacanau, France, it was won by Kim Merrick. A big victory this year for Kim. Then on to Japan. Wendy Botha once again winning there. Then down to Western Australia. Wendy Botha dominating the competition at the West Coast Coolers Surfers title. Wendy Botha, Sydney, Australia, the 5-year pro, has now won 15 events, 7 this year, and has only lost 4 heats this season. The last 2 events, rounds 10 and 11, were won by Jody Cooper at Surfers Paradise. Then Pauline Menser took the Diet Coke Classic crown. With more money than ever before, this year's women's tour offered $233,000. From Newcastle, Australia, the tour has moved to the North Shore of Hawaii for the 12th and final stop. We are now set for the Sunset Beach Sunwear Women's Final, the world's richest women's surfing event. And Mark, let's talk about the 4 finalists real quickly. We've got 3 Australians going up against 1 local Hawaiian.
Well, Dave, you couldn't ask for a hotter final than this here at Sunset Beach in these conditions. You got Jody Cooper, the defending champion, always a standout here. Wendy Botha, the current world champion. Lynn Boyer, the veteran Hawaiian competitor. And Pam Burridge, who's always done well out here at Sunset Beach, too. So this is going to be a great final.
Well, we know one thing for sure. The crowd on the beach wants Lynn Boyer, the local, the Kamahaina. Let's go out right now. They are set to go for this final. And Mark, they've got to be happy with the conditions today.
I'm sure they are. This has got to be the best surf they've had all year on the tour and some of the best waves they've had in Hawaii ever.
Here's Jody Cooper, 23 years old, out of Western Australia. Good wave judgment, great selection.
Yeah, Jody's such a strong performer out here at Sunset Beach. She's traditionally been the last couple of years the best women's competitor out here at Sunset. She's really at home in this powerful surf coming from Western Australia.
And Jody Cooper only has 1 win this year. She has a total of 6 in her career, looking for 1 to end this season, a big one.
Well, this is the big one to win, and there's a lot of money at stake. Here, Jody Cooper, looking at her again, slashing it off the top, bringing it back around into that whitewater. That's a very difficult maneuver. The whitewater sunset is very powerful.
Jody Cooper, 20 points on that wave. Wendy Botha, our new world champion, 2-time world champion, trying to better that right now.
Well, she's off to a great start.
And right behind her, Lynn Boyer.
We see Lynn come off the top in that wave. Right here, she's showing her experience at Sunset with really precise positioning, but a little bit maybe shaky early in this heat.
Well, the judges aren't going to score that very high at all. She's going to need much more to win this. Only 12 points.
Well, here you can see her coming off the bottom. She's really got some good positioning, but just haven't got her footing quite correct.
And again, they're looking for a perfect score, a perfect wave, indeed, to get 30 points. Here's Pam Burridge on her first wave.
Well, it's looking like the best wave so far in this heat. Pam taking off deep in the lineup, coming from behind the sections, getting out back in front of the wave with that green open face and getting a couple more cutbacks in. Good high-scoring wave for Pam there.
And the people on the beach loving the conditions. This is Hawaii. Pam Burridge now going for her 4th runner-up to the World Crown this year. Not happy with it. She wants to end with a big win this year.
On this wave, she's certainly on form to take out this event. And being backside, she's going to be at an advantage of looking a little bit different and being able to draw some different lines.
Now from our water cameraman, the runner-up to the world title in 1985, Jody Cooper.
Well, Jody here on her 2nd wave already, off to a really fast, quick start in this heat, just continuing the pace she's maintained throughout this event. Really a blistering, high-speed attack.
Now Lynn Boyer up and riding her 2nd wave.
I'm surprised at Lynn. She's really got the spot wired, but here she's picking a wave that's obviously going to close out.
And now we've got a break in the action. The ladies paddle back out into position. Jody Cooper leads with 34 points as we continue with the Sunset Beach Sunwear Women's Pro from Hawaii. Stay with us. Back to the North Shore of Oahu in the Hawaiian Islands for the world's richest surfing event for the Women's Pro Tour, the Sunset Beach Sunwear Women's Pro. Jody Cooper leads, but Lynn Boyer has moved up into 2nd. And there's a shot of our new world champion, 2-time world champion, Wendy Botha. She is currently in 4th and looking to better that, but she has won 7 events already this year. Up and riding Pam Burridge.
Pam on one of the best waves so far in this final. Look at this positioning. Pam's a big girl and needs these size waves to show off her skills. That should be a good high-scoring wave for Pam and should move her up, I'd say, into 2nd position with that one.
Pam Burridge surfing backside, the 9-year pro.
Looking at it again from the water, here you can see just how steep and hollow these waves are. Pam, critical positioning there, gets out underneath the lip.
And here's Wendy, both are current world champion.
As you move on into this final, you can see the competitors are really starting to warm up, and they know they got to start going for it at this stage.
Wendy has won over $42,000 this year and would love to cap that off with the $11,000 first prize money here at this event.
Okay, up and riding on this wave. Nice late takeoff for Jody Cooper. Just getting way out in front. Big wraparound cutback. Great positioning. Tucking it up, getting covered up there. Another good high-scoring wave for Jody. Jody's really on a, it seems what we call being in sync, in rhythm with the waves.
Jody Cooper wearing paddling gloves, always staying in position. Lots of moving water out there. Tough to get in position and pick off some of these bigger waves.
Yeah, looking at this cutback again, you can see her bringing it all the way around 180 degrees. Right here, again, the cover-up. That is much harder than it looks. That whitewater is very, very strong.
And there's a good look at Jody Cooper from Western Australia, the defending event champion here at Sunset Beach. Here's Lynn Boyer.
Then taking off really deep behind the peak on this wave, and she was able to get it around that big section, driving off the bottom here, brings it off the top. Then good wave selection, but looking still a little bit tentative. Behind her, Pam Burridge. Pam driving, carving a big snap off the top. Good S-turns, good flow going. You can get around this section, see if she can get it around. Yeah, able to continue on with this ride, rack up some high-scoring points.
Now let's take a look at the judges' computer system. Jody Cooper in the lead, followed by Pam Burridge and Lynn Boyer. A good shot of Lynn Boyer there, 33 years old, been surfing since the age of 12, two-time world champion. Let's meet Lynn. Lynn is retired from the World Tour and has found a new form of expression. Are there parallels between art and surfing?
Yeah, a lot to me. It's more of a free-spirited type of work. It's not really work. It becomes more play like surfing was. And since I left the pro circuit, it's been a hard road, you know, to learn how to work a normal 9-to-5 job. And for me, the feeling I get from painting is really, it's the same as I used to get from surfing, and I still get from surfing. Only, you know, from surfing I can't really make a living at it anymore. And I have a lot of hope with my painting that maybe someday I'll be able to. I have, you know, I admire all the top artists that are painting my style, or I'm like imitating their style like I used to do with the top surfers.
A perfectionist, she closely watched both men and women top pros.
You know, it's like the same feeling I used to get when I totally admired Larry Bertelsmann, so to speak. You know, I'm feeling those feelings with painting, you know, and it's, to me, it blows my mind because I never thought I would have this feeling again. And it's coming back now that I've discovered painting.
Lynn Boyer, champion surfer turned artisan with a new medium of expression. Colors and designs on canvas and foam. As we return to the action, this is Pam Burridge wearing the purple vest. Pam Burridge is in second. Jody Cooper continues to lead. And we should make note, Lynn Boyer has moved all the way through the trials. Outstanding surfing for Lynn.
Well, Pam's not far behind Jody here. Jody up and riding again. Jody just in rhythm here, driving off the bottom, snapping it off the top, showing that aggressive, very masculine type of attack at Sunset.
Out the back, our world champion. She's behind, and she's really going to have to cut loose, Mark.
Well, Wendy, being the champion that she is, she knows what the judges are looking for. They want to see some radical moves. Right there, she goes for a big, heavy snapback right underneath the lip there, and it's a tough maneuver to pull off out here at Sunset Beach. Looking at it again, here she just lays into it, trying to lay back, kind of contorting her body, but the chops and the bumps getting the better of her, and she goes down hard.
Now here's Lynn Boyer, the judges watching closely. Length of ride, maneuver, style, and wave selection. Beautiful wave selection. Woo! Great positioning for Lynn Boyer. Definitely one of the best waves of the day in the tube.
Then obviously stoked in that wave. She knows the tube ride is the highest scoring maneuver these judges are looking for, and she got a perfect tube ride there. Here again, she stalls for it, sets up casually Hawaiian style, tucks in, drives through cleanly. That's the way you do it.
On her beautiful airbrush painted board, Lynn Boyer from down the beach, a different camera angle, beautiful positioning, and Boyer right now wishes she had 3 more of those waves.
But answering right back with a great wave of her own. Pam Burridge, look at this with the wall in front of her, a big snap off the top.
And Pam looking for her first win this year.
down into the last seconds of this final. Desperation setting in for Wendy Botha. She takes off on a closeout.
Mark, congratulations to all those ladies out there. Fantastic surfing in the world's richest event for women, and can you pick a winner?
Not me, Dave. I mean, that was one of the closer heats I've ever seen. Jody started off real strong. Lynn came on real strong at the end. Pam Burge was real consistent. She had some great waves. That was just too tight for me to call. I'm going to leave it up to the judges.
The judges are tabulating the scores right now. The ladies are paddling in. We'll take a short break, and we'll have the results when we come back with the Sunset Beach Sunwear Women's Pro from Sunset Beach, Hawaii. Stay with us. Come back to the North Shore of Oahu for the $35,000 Sunset Beach Sunwear Women's Pro Surfing Championships. Now, let's listen in on the final results.
And $11,000 goes to Miss Pam Burridge.
Your winner, Pam Burridge from Australia.
But Dave, it's got to be a sweet victory for Pam. You know, she's been runner-up so many times. Here, the most prestigious and lucrative event to win. $11,000 richer. She's got to be pretty stoked.
Very happy, and her first win of this season.
Recapping that final result, again, it was Pam Burge in first, Jody Cooper runner-up, third place Lynn Boyer, Wendy Botha coming fourth.
Congratulations to all the competitors in this, the world's richest women's event, the Sunset Beach Sunwear Women's Pro. And congratulations first to Wendy Botha winning the World Championship. 7 big victories. Was that enough?
I'd like to have won this one, but yeah, 7's enough. I don't want to be too greedy. It was a good year. It'll be hard to ever do better than 7 wins, but I'll be trying next year again, and I'm really happy to congratulate Pam on winning this event.
Congratulations to you on the world title, her second world title. Now, Pam Burridge, you've got to be surprised. Excellent out there, but you've been under the weather, haven't you?
Well, yeah, I've had the flu for the last week. I haven't surfed for a week. I've been in bed suffering from quite this sickness that's been going around, but it was kind of good for me because I went out there with 0 expectations, and I've done really well.
What was the secret out there? You had a little help from your caddy?
Well, as I was going in the final, Pauline would give me a rundown after each wave, and she said I was going pretty well, and I was feeling confident and loose, and I was surfing quite well, so I just did my thing, and I turned out on top.
Congratulations, great victory. She doubled her income here today with an $11,000 check. On behalf of my colleagues Betty DiPolito and Mark Fu, I'm David Stanfield. Aloha from Hawaii. Accommodations for the cast and crew provided by the Turtle Bay Hilton Hotel and Country Club.